This is the third of 4 videos where I will explain all the recent changes to LMIs and the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. The government says that as the labor market is improved, they are now rolling back to pre-pandemic measures that were implemented originally to address an extraordinary labor shortage. Starting in October 2023, there were changes that were introduced which included reducing the validity period of LMIs from 18 months to 6 months. And then they also lowered the cap on the percentage of temporary foreign workers that employers could bring in from 30% to 20% and now even further down to 10%. According to the government, these adjustments are necessary to return to the program to the pre-pandemic levels. Now let's talk of an example where you can apply for LMI. Let's consider a person named John, who's a Canadian business owner, owns a restaurant, looking to hire a temporary foreign worker through the program. John must first identify the job vacancy in his restaurant that he can't fill with local talent. Now, if he wants to hire, let's say, a chef from a country whose nationals require an LMI to obtain a work permit, he must go through all the processes or steps required to apply for the LMI. The first of that is to advertise the position to demonstrate that he attempted to recruit locally. This could include advertising the position in local newspapers, posting it on job boards, and reaching out to local employment agencies as well. John is required to keep records of all his recruitment efforts. John then needs to determine the wages that he will be offering to the temporary foreign worker in the region where his workplace is located. Prior to these changes, for an LMI to be approved, John must offer the prevailing wage, which is the median wage for the position, or higher than the median wage. But post the changes on November 8th, John will now have to offer the median wage plus 20% of the wage that is, of his region. If the wage falls below the provincial median plus 20%, then it will be considered under the low wage stream. If the median wage is above the provincial median plus 20%, then it will be considered as a high wage application. Once the wage is determined, John advertises the position for at least 4 weeks, and then he submits an application to ESTC, wherein John explains the reasons why he couldn't hire a Canadian or permanent resident. He must prove the recruitment efforts that were done to hire locally, and that's it. Once the application is submitted, then there is a waiting period. ESTC assesses the application. Once they've assessed the application, they reach out to John. They could even have an interview with John, and based on the application and John's recruitment efforts to hire locally, if the ESTC officer is convinced, they will approve his application for the LMIA, which John can then provide to the temporary foreign worker who will use that LMI to apply for a work permit to either enter Canada, or somebody who's already inside Canada on a temporary resident status and can then apply for a work permit. There are a lot of other changes that are in sync with the temporary foreign worker program, such as visitors in Canada cannot apply for a work permit any longer, so they must apply for a work permit from outside Canada. So again, if you are a Canadian business owner or somebody who is looking to get a work permit through an LMI program, this is the time to be extremely cautious and understand all the changes that have been implemented so that you take the right decision for yourself or your business, or as an employee or a temporary foreign worker who's trying to enter Canada. For more information, go to part 4 of this series.